Magic in the Morning, Jessica Simpson, and 8:35 on the clock. It's a Tuesday. That means it's time for Good Policies with Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance Agency. Good morning, my friend Mike.
Good morning, my friend Jeff.
I can say that because we've known each other for about 30 some odd years.
Yeah. I've known
and friends. Oh, actually friends.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I remember buying my latest K-Singles at the music shop from you. So remember K-Singles?
I do. I used to have to restock that thing twice a week. And then when the new CDs would come in, all the kids from the academy would come flooding down Eastern Avenue to the music shop to get the CD before anyone else got it.
Don't get me wrong. I love digital, but I also very much miss the ability of going and looking.
Yep.
Same with like movie night, right? Going and walking into the movie store and what are we watching tonight? Instead of just sitting on my couch eating popcorn and going, well, I've spent 4 hours looking for something to watch and now I'm tired. So,
all right.
Sorry, I could go all day.
Good Policies has nothing to do with our previous life. But let's go back to a previous conversation, the one that we had as recently as last week.
Yes.
Now, we had talked about your insurance company and a rental vehicle if you're involved in a motor vehicle accident. Mm-hmm. And you kind of dabbled into it about a rental vehicle when you go on vacation, but we didn't go really into detail on that.
Right.
Now, I've only ever once rented a car, but I had to purchase insurance from them. How is this going to bode into today's day and time? Because it was decades ago that I rented a car.
Right, and it was probably the same rule that applies now that applied then. So let's first step back to last week. We're talking about you're in an accident, you need a vehicle, you look at your policy, you see it's either called transportation expense or rental reimbursement. It's called one or the other, and you'll see a limit. Or you may not. You may not even have it. But if you have it, you can see 2060, 2400, 3060, 50, 1500, so on and so forth. That is if you're in an accident and you need to rent a car while your vehicle is unable to be driven. All right. So that is what that's for. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, rental coverage that we're talking about this morning applies to every situation, whether you're renting a car because you were in an accident or you're going on vacation. It's important to listen to what I have to say. Go ahead.
Well, no, I want to hear what you want to say, but I'm going to use an example because I always let myself be the guinea pig. My amazing 2001 Honda Accord out here, I love my car.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that I'd take it on a trip to Missouri.
No.
So I would want to rent a vehicle. So now let's go on with this.
So now you're going and renting a car, whatever the purpose, whatever the reason, you have to rent a vehicle. You get to the counter of the rental car company and they go, so for this much more a day, you can buy our insurance. And here's our insurance. And they kind of give you this potpourri of options of things to do. Now, people always ask me this, and I think this is a good time because we're getting close to that, February break and maybe people going somewhere warmer to get away from this cold weather we're in. If you are going away and renting a vehicle and you're at that counter, do you or do you not buy their insurance? That's the question.
See, I myself, from some of our conversations we had, and I could be wrong, and if I am, tell me, I have been of the assumption that because I have insurance, which is attached to my driver's license, that my insurance would cover me on any vehicle that I operate. Am I right or wrong?
You are right. It's not attached to your license, though, but you have an insurance policy that's your policy. And by definition, the broadest coverage on your policy will extend to other vehicles that you drive. That could be, hey, Jeff, you want to borrow my truck? Here you go. If you're driving my truck and my insurance is not enough in an accident, your insurance would kick in as excess. So now let's go back to the rental. You're at the rental counter. You decide not to get their insurance. Your auto insurance would act as excess. So the liability coverage, the uninsured motorist, all that's excess coverage that would immediately kick in if you don't purchase theirs because there's nothing to be behind. So it becomes primary. But the broadest coverage in your policy. So if you have liability only, you don't have coverage for damage that will occur to that vehicle. You don't have comprehensive or collision. So you could be exposed there. But there's a number of other reasons why I recommend at least purchasing one thing at the rental car company. It's called collision deductible waiver or loss deductible waiver, depending on who you're with. What it does is it gives you coverage if you damage the vehicle. So you still are relying on your liability from your own auto insurance to protect you as you're driving. But if damage occurs to that rental vehicle and you have the collision deductible, loss deductible waiver with them, that's going to take some of the pressure off. Some of the exposures that you can have when you're driving a rental vehicle and get it damaged is they can come back at you and say, we rent this for $65 a day. And now, for the period of restoration for this vehicle, we're not getting that money. You owe us $65 a day for X number of days this thing's not being driven. Your insurance really is not going to be triggered for that. There's not really a trigger of coverage to help recoup their loss of income. Two, we were going to sell this vehicle for X number of dollars, but now that we've gotten it into an accident, there's a depreciation here. So you owe us this. So there's some scenarios, and I'm not going to say that I've seen them. I've only heard about these scenarios. They can also force you in the contract to pay them before you get on your plane, which I've never seen that. Believe me, I've never seen that. I've only read about it. But, these are some potential pitfalls that I think makes it worthwhile to at least look at the cost of I just call it CDW for collision deductible waiver or LDW for loss deductible waiver, just to have a little layer of protection so that you're not exposed for incidental costs on that vehicle.
Well, so if Joe has liability only and he's taking a family, I got to do the whole Chevy Chase vacation thing, okay? It's just coming into my mind here. All they've got is liability coverage, and they go to a golf driving range or they go to a baseball game and a ball goes astray and knocks out a windshield. Liability isn't going to cover that.
No, that's comprehensive, and you don't have it. So you really want to make sure that you're taking some level of protection. Also, quite important is remember your coverage territory. If you read your auto insurance policy, there is a coverage territory. So the coverage territory is the United States, its territories, and Canada. So, if I'm in Puerto Rico, I can rent a car and not have to worry about rental car insurance if I don't want to, or I'll buy the CDW, LDW. But if you are in Jamaica, or if you are in Mexico, or if you're in Europe, you have to buy their insurance because your policy will not extend out of the country.
So then I was thinking about Vespa scooters and stuff like that, like in Jamaica and stuff. So these are all reasons, and that's why we have these chats, to have that conversation with your insurance agent.
Right. And my favorite story is I was flying out to a conference with Big I, and I ended up having a connecting flight with one of my peers. He represents Pennsylvania. So I had a layover in Philly, and he happened to get on the plane. So when we got off, he said, "How are you getting to the hotel?" I said, "Oh, I'm just going to get an Uber or something." He goes, "No, I rented a car. I'll drive you." I'm like, "Oh, cool." He walks away from the ticket counter. I said, "Okay, $1 million question. Did you buy the insurance?" He goes, "You're darn tootin' right, I did." So just the CDW, though. So it's something to think about. And I have a great article that tells you all the details. If anyone ever wants it, they can just ask and I'll send it to them.
All right. Well, tell them how to get in touch with you then.
Sure. You can give us a call, 748-5224. You can find us on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
And tune in Tuesday mornings at 8:35.
Right here.
All right. Headed back to the music with J-Lo and Pitbull together on Magic